I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternative of cough syrup. It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. In the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water.
No cause for alarm over tremor. Nigerians get fresh flood alert. Shekarau makes APC return. Good evening and welcome to PTV Tonight. I am Daniel Nwaboso. News just reaching us say the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has disbanded the IGP Special Tactical Squad. He also ordered the redeployment of all squad personnel to other departments and formations. Police spokesman Jimoh Moshood hinted that the move may have something to do with the unauthorized raid on the home of the elder statesman Edwin Clark. He disclosed that senior officers attached to the Special Tactical Squad who played some roles in the illegal search are now undergoing strict disciplinary procedures. We're on to some environmental news where the FCT Emergency Management Agency says there is no likelihood of earthquake within the territory and the country. This is in the aftermath of reports of earth tremor in Pape and some parts of the capital city in recent days. FCT residents were alarmed by the sudden shake of the earth in the affected areas, which was their first experience of many years. But Director General of the agency, Abbas Idris, insisted that there is no cause for alarm. According to him, the earth shaking around Pape and some parts of Maitama district does not imply that the FCT and indeed the country is under the threat of earthquake. He added that the agency is in firm control of the situation. The tremor instilled fear in the residents, resulting in confusion about the cause of the terrific happening around them. In the aftermath of the earth tremors in Nigeria, the Nigeria Geological Survey says the country is not at risk of earthquake. Director General of the agency, Alex Nwogu, also assured Abuja residents that there is no cause for alarm. He said at the press briefing in Abuja that Nigeria is not on the boundary of earthquake. According to the DG, a field survey is ongoing to get more information on the origin of the earthquake, of the earth tremor, and what triggered it. He also released emergency numbers to report incidences of geological hazard anywhere in Nigeria. The Abuja earth tremor has, in the last few days, been trending on social media, while many Nigerians have reacted, taking to Twitter to share their experience and concerns. Others are calling on God for help. We'll bring you that report in a subsequent bulletin. Now, moving forward, the National Emergency Management Agency has expressed fear of more flooding incidents across the country. NEMA issued the alert just as the meteorological agency is predicting intense rainfalls in coming weeks. It is, however, soliciting the cooperation of the relevant bodies to ensure high level of preparedness. Polum David has more.
Many parts of Nigeria have in recent times been overrun by floodwaters. From Kaduna to Kebbi, the story is the same. Now, NEMA has summoned an emergency meeting of rescue agencies following the flood alerts.
Guinea is what we call Upper Niger. It's divided into four. This is basically divided into four. Guinea is Upper Niger. Mali is what we call Inland Delta or Inner Delta. Then Niger is what we call Middle Niger. And then where we are is what we call Lower Niger. We are lucky we have a Shiroro Dam on River Kaduna within Niger State. On Sunday, 1:30 p.m., Shiroro had to open the gate too, making that the three dams in Nigeria within this Niger axis, River Niger, they're already spilling water. And then when we talked with Kainji and Jeba about it yesterday or so, they said water is coming, it's still coming very high.
What he has outlined to you as per the flood outlook and the risk states, they should in turn know that yes, it will surely come. Because even in our prediction in March, we did state that the nation should expect rainfall as an intense rainfall between the months of July to September. And with the earliest season coming up, as he mentioned, in Sokoto and Katsina on the 28th of September, which could be on the date, or it could be a little bit above or below, like 5 days interval, negative or positive. And I want to inform us here that yes, from our own monitoring, we were able to tell you that yes, Sokoto State in the next 1 week will definitely experience intense rain. But in the next decade, that is 10 days, it will start going down.
There are real fears of a repeat of the massive September 2012 flooding incidents.
As at 7th of September 2018, the hydrological measurement downstream, the confluence in Lokoja has recorded a stage height of 20.01 meters and discharge value of 21,731 cubic meter per second, as against the value of 9.47 meters and 19,898 cubic meter per second as recorded on corresponding date of 7 September 2012.
All the indices with regard to 2012 have already manifested. The remaining one is the rate of water from Lado Dam. Kebbi on the River Niger axis, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Kogi, Edo, Anambra, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Delta states would experience a river flooding. Then on the Benue axis is Adamawa, Taraba, and Benue that are likely to experience flood, even with or without the risk of water from Lado Dam. But if the intensity of rainfall all three continues, these are the things that are expected.
And not wanting to be caught unawares, Nigeria's emergency authorities have already prepared a shopping list of requests.
5 teams of 3 persons each have been constituted, comprising all the stakeholders, to visit all the states and areas that are likely to be affected, to assess the level of the preparedness, the facility and the facilities there that may be needed or required should the disaster happen. And all the ministers, the state governors, and all other stakeholders in the state will be contacted and their preparedness assessed accordingly to ensure all stakeholders are prepared for well-coordinated and efficient response to flood disaster that may occur. Sensitization and awareness campaign directly to the people in the affected state will be invigorated, and to identify locations and buildings in the respective states where people can be evacuated in the case of any incidents.
The agencies also want Nigerians to heed advices to relocate to a safer place in case of flooding. Palum David, PTV News, Abuja.
Another report just reaching us this evening indicates that the FCT Minister Mohammed Bello has suspended quarrying and mining activities as well as borehole drilling in Pape, Gwarimpa and Garki district of Abuja. This, he says, is pending the outcome of investigations on the root causes of the earth tremor in the Nigerian capital. Now, the minister gave this order when he paid an on-the-spot visit to Pape, the epicenter of the reported incident of the tremor. Speaking on behalf of the FCT Minister, the PAMSEC, Chiaka Oha, advised residents not to panic. He noted that geological experts have considered that Abuja was not on the line of any major seismic danger. The minister added that the administration is engaging both local and international geological experts in order to unravel the root causes of the tremor. He explained that preliminary reports show that rock blasting from quarrying mining activities as well as proliferation of borehole drilling were likely causes. The minister consequently suspended all quarrying activities in the various sites of Abuja, especially Pape, Garki, Gwarimpa, and contiguous areas. Moving forward now, some communities in the Ikorodu area of Lagos State have been cut off from the rest of the state. This follows a 3-hour early morning rainfall, which rendered roads leading to the area impassable. Motorists plying the Isawo Arepo Road had difficulties either coming out or going into the 3 communities because of the flooded road. Commuters using tricycles and motorcycles were forced to disembark and wade through the water to board vehicles at the other end to get to their destinations. Now, the Nigerian authorities have rolled out implementation plan for the Paris Agreement on climate change. Minister of State for Environment Ibrahim Jibril made this known at the Abuja Climate Summit. The Paris Agreement suggests that Nigeria should ensure 20% reduction of greenhouse gases. Minister was represented by Inyobong Abila, the Deputy Director on Climate Change, said the plan is on course. Emmanuel Bagudu has more.
It's yet another session of deliberations on how to reduce climate change to the barest minimum. And all the key facets of the society are not left out.
And the whole world came together.
This is the Abuja Climate Summit, and the organizers strongly believe it's a platform that will aid the control of climate change.
So we want people to know that climate change is one of the #1 problem facing the world. All of us, both the rich, both the poor, no one is exempt. But for this event today, Nigeria, we are in an electionary year, and a quick study of all the political parties, and we discussed their manifestos. There is no word climate change or renewable energy, and we expect that after this, climate change will become a campaign issue for the 2019 elections. That they should begin to tell us what plans they have about the climate change crisis, and then their plans for renewable energy. But more so, that as a country, it is high time we stop gas flaring. We are about the only country in the world that is still flaring gas as at now. And then we should seriously implement the Paris Agreement. And we also call on all businessmen in Nigeria, I'm not afraid to mention Dangote, to invest in renewable energy. The complaint is that it is expensive, but if we have this investment in Africa, in Nigeria, the prices will come down, and it is worth investing in.
The summit had the backings of the federal government.
The federal government of Nigeria has signed to the Paris Agreement and is also rolling out action plans for the implementation of those actions. The Paris Agreement was signed by Nigeria in December 2015 and ratified by the government of Nigeria in 2017.
The month of September was designed by the United Nations as a period for global action against effects of climate change. Emmanuel Bagudu, PTV News, Abuja.
Soldiers helping Nigerian soldiers fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislators.
This is coming together of people who are confused.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have
said there had hardly been any administration.
Practitioner will explain the end of justice about no religious body in Nigeria.
Validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Small fish in a big pond, but lights, camera, action, and we go beyond. This is our time, we on MTN Impulse. No, we refuse, so now we can wave our banner. Yo, get ready for what we have to offer from Texas Sports. We got it on Impulse. I sense science. We got it on Impulse. Silence again. We got it on Impulse. And what? Yo, Impulse. The stage is set, so let's own it. They say be this, they say be that, but all we want to be is just us, man. Fact.
Yes, it's work. Buy an MTN SIM and dial *344# to unleash their potential. MTN Impulse. Learn, play, shine everywhere you go.
People's Television Nigeria has gone mobile. You can now watch PTV Nigeria on the go, anywhere in the world. For real-time notifications, just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store if you're on iOS. Search for PTV Nigeria. Download. It's free. It's easy. And now you can catch up with the latest news analysis and political discourse on the go. So stay connected with PTV, Nigeria's #1 online TV.
Welcome back. Now joining me live on PTV tonight is Engineer Clement Nze, Director, Engineering Hydrology, National Emergency Management Agency. Welcome to PTV tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. Now, quickly, let's start with the warning your agency gave out of possible flooding. What led to these fears?
Okay, that's correct. It is the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency.
Okay, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are the agency that have been predicting flood in Nigeria.
Okay.
No, is during the months of July, August, September, these months are very critical every year in terms of flooding in the country. So we are always on our toes once you get to this stage, because that's where you have the maximum amount of rainfall in the country. Rainfall is a major agent that causes flooding in any country. So we have so many hydrological stations across the country put in our major rivers in Nigeria. These stations measure what we call stage, or the height, or the river height fluctuates. And it also, from there, you can get the records for what is the volume of water that passes through any particular spot in that river. So our measurements, we have been taking it every day, bearing in mind that we are at the peak of rainfall. And the data we've been getting from the stations there outside there, is a bit worrisome compared to what we saw in 2012.
Okay, now, taking a cue from the recent flooding in Kebbi, Kaduna, Kano, and others, so what lessons are we to draw from all of these activities?
The lesson we should draw from this is the need for us to do proper urban planning, put adequate drainage structures. People start to build within the floodplains. People should heed to warnings with regards to flooding. The states you have mentioned, Kebbi, Kaduna, Abeokuta, Kano recently, and Jibia. This is what we call urban flooding. Certain amount of rainfall of certain duration. The ground is saturated. The rainfall intensity is high. And then water is looking for way to pass, the runoff. And if there are structures that are within the floodplain or within the pathway of the runoff, that's what causes the destruction. Especially if it comes with the windstorm, it also increases the magnitude of the destruction. So what has been happening in these states is majorly what we call urban flooding. Flash flooding, it just come within, like what happened in Jibia. It was between 11 p.m. on Sunday, 15th of July, and 1 a.m. on Monday, 16th of July. Barely 2 hours rainfall. And what was destroyed there was so much. If you go to Abeokuta, I was there. It was barely 3 hours rainfall from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That was when the rainfall took place in Abeokuta on the 30th of July. What was destroyed there was so quite massive. The height of the flood was about 2 meters, more than that. The first floor of the building, it was covered. What actually happened? The drainage, there were either inadequate drainage system or the flood part we are blocked. Like a legend mentioned, fella, that water has no enemy. But by the way we human beings, put up our structures, in terms of buildings, we make ourselves enemy to water.
Okay, now let's talk about the 2012 flooding. That was partly said to be as a result of the release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. What should be the cause of this one now that is being predicted?
Now, the one that is being predicted, we are talking about right now, has to do with the river flooding. That's what we are expecting. And there's already people who pass through Lokoja. We tell you that Kotunkari, first of all, most of the buildings have been submerged already as we speak. Kotunkari. Then on the Niger side, Niger State, there's a river, we call it Eko River, on the Jeba Mokwa Road. That bridge is a little bit low. It's already part of it has been submerged. Now, because we are not isolated from the entire basin, what we call Niger Basin. The Niger Basin is a basin that's made up of 9 countries spread across the West and Central Africa. From Guinea, where River Niger takes off its course. River Niger passes through from Guinea to Mali, Niger, down to Benin, and then Nigeria. There are other countries that their rivers flow into River Niger, like Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire. So all these things gravitate, they all enter into River Niger. Nigeria is at the bottom, is at the bottom of the system. And whatever comes from Cameroon side, River Benue, Cameroon, Chad, they will all come down to Nigeria and meet in Lokoja. So that's what actually is causing it. But for Nigeria is a bit safe on the River Niger axis because we have Kainji and Jeba dams. And the capacity of the dam is being overwhelmed. And that's why for nearly 2 weeks, they have been spilling water, allowing water to pass gradually. And then there was flood incident in Kaduna, 23rd and 24th of August. The thing has filled up the River Kaduna, and then, good enough, we have Shiroro Dam or River Kaduna. On Sunday, Shiroro Dam was open because of the heavy flood that was coming into it, and everything has now moved to Lokoja. So the flood level in Lokoja, as of today, has exceeded what our equipment recorded the same spot by this same date in 2012. That was why we had to issue an alert. And then NEMA took it up to publicize it by calling stakeholders meeting today.
Okay, now so far we've not seen any serious flood in the Federal Capital Territory this year, but you know we saw a building collapse a few weeks ago, and you know just yesterday we also heard of the earth tremor in Pape. Are you, as an engineer, what comes to mind?
Well, a press release has been made about the earth tremor in Pape and part of Guarimpa also. Now, my agency, the National Agricultural Service Agency, talks about groundwater issues. In Abuja, there is indiscriminate mining of water. People can dig anywhere. They say, this is my own house I'm digging. By the time you are extracting water from ground unregulated, it has the tendency to alter the geometry of the soil or of the rock formation. And then in Mpape, rock blasting has been going on there. Quarry industries, so many of them are there. And this is what you are doing. You are shaking, you are vibrating the system. Even if you are standing by, you hear the sound. Now, well, I heard that the Minister of FCT has stopped any further quarry business in Pape until further notice, before they cannot conclude. Now, so as an engineer, I feel strongly that it will be connected with the activities that have been going on in Pape, and also the issue of indiscriminate borehole drilling. Now, as for building collapse, as a civil engineer, I will say that they didn't follow the building regulation. Is there any structural design of that building? Who constructed it? Or was it a drawing that was produced by a draftsman? Or just after architectural drawing, you proceed to build without doing the structural design that gives you the strength of the materials that will be used? That could be what caused the collapse of the building. And at times, a structure has been in place, conceived about 2 floors or 1 floor. When the owner maybe acquires some money somewhere, he said, okay, let me increase the floor. Maybe in about 3-story building, without considering the strength, whether the columns and beams are okay to carry it. That could be a possibility. And then the materials you use, the mix design, are you just mixing anything you like without following the standard?
Mm. Okay, now what, now to victims, how have your agency or your sister agency been coping with victims of disasters, be it man-made or natural?
Well, our agency, the Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency, is at the upstream of emergency issues. For instance, we try to foresee it before it happens. We send alerts to the relevant stakeholders. For instance, based on what we saw up to today with regard to River Niger, even without release of water from Lagdo Dam, we intimated stakeholders involving NEMA. So NEMA is the one that has been in charge in the issue of how to take care of the people that will be affected. However, a proactive measure is being taken. People will be dispatched to locations, even though they have been sensitized enough. I must say that the governors, the state emergency management agencies have been involved, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Water Resources. Now, NEMA considered about 5 teams to now go to about 12 states that have been mentioned, to go and see the level of preparedness in terms of anything that happens. All stakeholders are involved, even military, security apparatus, they were equally involved in the planning. Tomorrow, people will start moving.
Okay, now, so what are the key areas Nigerians should be strict on when it comes to averting flood and other disasters?
Maintaining our environment, clearing our drainages, removing structures from the floodplain, not building houses or whatever within the floodplains, and then to resolve the problem to let us on a long run. If we have reservoirs, dams rather, if we can build some dams within, especially the Benue axis, there are so many tributes of the Benue, Kasinala River, Donga, Taraba, Mayokebi, a lot of them, Gongola River, that flow into the Benue. If some dams can be built on those tributaries, it will reduce the rate of inflow into the main channel of the Benue. So that even if Cameroon releases water, we can block all our own that will be entering into it, then be able to contend with whatever comes from Cameroon. So building of dams. Countries like US, maybe over 18,000 dams, what we call large dams. The height is about 50 meters, what we call large dams. China is over 23,000 large dams. Canada, I don't know whether maybe obsessed with Nigeria, has 933 large dams. But in Nigeria, what we have is about 200 dams, possibly about 56 large dams. So dams serve the purpose of flood control, hydropower, irrigation activities, and so on and so forth. So if we can have enough dams in Nigeria, we can control the rate of flow of water and then stop the emergence of a flood in Nigeria to an extent.
Okay, finally, before you go now, in 2012, your agency gave a warning, yes, and we still saw the flooding. And now your agency is giving another warning. How seriously are these warnings being taken by the Nigerian people, or by your sister agency, or by the government? How seriously is this warning being taken? Because if it's taken seriously, we should start now to take precautionary measures to averting this prediction that your agency is coming up with.
I tell you that more than ever before, relevant agencies are gearing up in the case of any eventuality. 2012, it was like it had never happened before like this. People never knew it, but eventually it happened. There with the repeated alert we've been sending out, like today, in fact, we're always in touch with most of the states. The Kogi State Commissioner for Water Resources keeps calling every day. Like today, he had to call me, what is the situation in Kogi? I mean, water level. And if you pass through you see them physically doing some work, located to people from the flood place. I believe there is a higher level of preparedness in 2018 as against 2012 in case of any flood incident, like I mentioned earlier on, and even reported by People's TV. NEMA has already mobilized people to go and visit the state governors, relevant commissioners, and even the ministers also, so that let us see the level of preparedness. Minister of Agriculture, are you stockpiling anything? What do you have on ground? Minister of Health, what is the level of preparedness? The armed forces, especially the Navy, Air Force. So all these things are being put in place in the event of anything happens. But however, the first thing, and which is being done now, is to go to the grassroots to tell those people in the local government areas. I saw a write-up by the one commissioner in Delta State. He listed the local government areas. The Kwara State governor was on air. He called a press conference. They listed the local government areas, the communities that will be threatened. So I'm saying that there's a high level of preparedness this time around, unlike before.
Okay, now, for want of clarity now, how many states are we looking at that are on red alert?
Now, because more water, which I will call flood, is coming from Niger Republic, that is from Guinea, Mali, before coming to Niger Republic. The two dams directly on River Niger, they are open, Kainji and Jeba dams. Shiroro Dam is already open, and then moving down. Benue Ango, the flood level is rising, of which they mistook it to mean that Cameroon opened their gate, Lagos Dam. They didn't open. We are in touch almost every day. So these are the states that are contiguous to these rivers. On the River Benue axis, you have Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, and Nasarawa State. On the River Niger axis, you have Kebbi, the first point River Niger enters to Nigeria. You have Niger, you have Kwara, you have Kogi, you have Edo, you have Anambra, you have Delta, you have Bayelsa, you have River State. Almost on the whole, about 12 states. We are talking about river flooding. This is different from the urban flooding, flash flood that have been taking place here and there. It happened in Kano, maybe during this week. But the one I'm talking about now is the river flooding, with regards to what we are seeing on River Niger and Benue.
Thank you very much for coming on PTV tonight. It's been a pleasure having you. I have been speaking with Dr. Clement Nze, Engineer Clement Nze, beg your pardon, Director, Engineering Hydrology, Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
On thank you very much. Okay, moving on now. We're going to a short break. When we come back, more stories here on PTV Tonight.
Soldiers helping Nigerian soldiers fight
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislatures.
This is
coming together or people who are confused.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have
said there had hardly been any administration.
Practitioner, one of place the end of justice under the law. No religious body in Nigeria.
Validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Away from that now to other stories where after a successful outing at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit, President Muhammadu Buhari has since returned to Abuja. The president arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in company of his wife Aisha Buhari and other delegation. He was received by service chiefs and top government officials. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, reeled out what the President brought from China.
President Muhammadu Buhari was among a select few leaders who have been also programmed for a bilateral discussion with the Chinese authorities. In fact, in addition to that, also there was a banquet in his honor by the Premier after meeting the President. And then you also had a meeting of the Nigerian delegation with businesses, which had led to, you know, the signature on a number of agreements, you know, to invest in Nigeria, and a number of memoranda of understanding, MOUs, you know, for the commencement or planning of projects that would follow. So, talking about what Nigeria had, President Buhari is bringing home from all of these things, you can talk about the commitment of the Chinese government to continue the financing of critical infrastructure in our country, including Mambila. We now have a plan, a program. Hopefully Mambila should start from early next year. So we are now talking about timelines for commencement. In addition to this, we received assurances of continuing support from the Chinese government for so many projects who the Chinese president himself outlined. And this include the railway projects, you know, Lekki Deep Seaport, the aviation, the airport, you know, the second phase of the aviation, of the airport terminal, you know, construction, and the depots that are being put together.
And away from that now to politics, where the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, has formally received former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau back into the party. He also expressed happiness over the defection of the one-time presidential candidate from the People's Democratic Party. Oshiomhole made the remark when he paid a visit to the former governor at his personal residence in Kano. Oshiomhole, he expressed optimism that the defection of Shekarau to the APC would strengthen the party in the state and the country at large. Shekarau was a founding member of the APC, but left when the party structure in Kano was handed over to Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, who was the then governor. Kwankwaso has since gone back to PDP, with Shekarau also returning to APC. He's expected to formally announce his defection to the APC at a grand reception any moment from now. The All Progressives Congress has extended this deadline for sale and submission of nomination forms for elective positions to Tuesday, September 11th. The previous deadline was Monday, September 10, 2018. APC spokesman Yakini Nabena did not disclose reasons for the extension of deadline, but note that all aspirants are to submit duly completed forms to the APC National Secretariat. And in the case of the House of Assembly, aspirants are expected to return their forms at party state secretariats on or before the close of work of the new deadline. And to Kaduna now, a group known as the All Progressives Congress Stakeholders Aspirants Forum in Kaduna has lashed out at Governor Nasir El-Rufai over the adoption of the indirect mode of primaries ahead of 2019 general elections. One of the group leaders, gubernatorial aspirant Jalal Falal, said the governor should emulate President Muhammadu Buhari and conduct direct primaries. He explained that the group is not comfortable with indirect primaries because he is prone to manipulate and vote buying. The forum claimed that delegates would only elect money bags and aspirants backed by Governor El-Rufai. Jalal argued that the best way to retain the state is to field candidates that would beat those of other parties. And to the PDP now, the People's Democratic Party presidential hopeful Senator David Mark has canvassed for rancor-free congresses in the party. He cautioned against the imposition of candidates at all levels. Senator Mark told party faithful in a statement issued in Abuja to conduct themselves peacefully according to the rules of the game. He noted that as PDP Congress begins on Saturday, he expects party leaders to observe the principle of fairness and justice. Senator Mark stated that he joined the presidential race because he believes he could make a positive difference in the country. He expressed optimism that his roadmap to economic recovery and prosperity, tagged 730 model, will in turn around the economy of the nation within 2 years of his administration if elected. Mark revealed that he has assembled a team of young Nigerian professionals to hit the ground running and facilitates the recovery of the economy. The Independent National Electoral Commission now is concerned over what it described as bad conduct of some political parties. This, it says, is recalling biting hard on the finances. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu disclosed this at a consultative meeting with political parties. Mahmood, in reference the 680 intra-party court cases it has to contend with since 2015.
After 2 months, political parties are meeting once again with INEC officials. And this time, the 23 newly registered parties are in attendance.
I'm National Chairman of
Now that parties are set to hold primaries, INEC is keen on credible processes. The session provided a platform for Mahmood Yakubu to draw attention to what he termed bad conduct of some political parties. He revealed that inter-party court cases that the commission is always dragged into is affecting its finances.
Avoid incessant changes to your venues for party primaries. It has happened before. When our staff are actually confused in the field, a political party has invited INEC to monitor primaries. A venue will be clearly stated, but close to the election, state branches will now write to say they have changed venues. And sometimes even on the day of the election, there will be another faction conducting purportedly conducting the primaries in one venue. The national may be in another venue. At the end of the day, you have 2 reports coming from the states. So please, when you fix a date for your primaries, make sure that this is conveyed and try as much as possible, unless it is absolutely necessary, to change venues. I hope hope that is noted. Now, endeavor to have offices in the states. I know that the law doesn't say you must have an office in each state of the federation before you are registered. But where a political party is building candidates for governorship or National Assembly constituencies in a state, that party should endeavor to have an office. Because we know who to relate with, we know where to respond to communication, we know who to talk to at those places. But in many states, some of the parties have no offices, which makes it very difficult when we are conducting primaries to actually find an address and reach out to the political parties accordingly. Next, you should strive to eliminate or at least minimize rancorous primaries so that we don't have to expend resources monitoring same primaries several times. Whenever you serve notice on the commission to monitor your primaries, congresses, or conventions, we incur cost because we pay the DTA of staff that go to monitor these congresses. When it is disrupted and you reschedule, we go back again. In one instance, the primaries were disrupted, they fixed another date, we responded, and then when we responded again, they shifted it by another day. And each time you go to monitor Congress, you have to pay the DTA per diem for the staff. We are still grappling, as at today, with litigation arising from the conduct of party primaries held in December 2014 for the 2015 general elections. Only 2 months ago, the Commission issued a certificate of return to a candidate declared winner of party primaries in 2014. And each time these cases go to court, INEC is joined, and we hire lawyers and we pay them. But these are completely avoidable litigations. Arising from post-election litigations in 2016 alone, we were dragged to court 680 times.
INEC is now prepared to name and shame those found wanting.
But now there is a new trend to submit the names of candidates without conducting primaries at all. It happened in one of the elections. Political parties submitted the names of candidates without conducting primaries at all. The state where the election was conducted didn't know that the party was conducting primaries. There was no communication between the headquarters of that political party and INEC. But names of candidates were submitted without party primaries. I think we must build a consensus if we want to grow our democracy, that when this kind of thing happens going forward, even though INEC has no power to reject under the law, we are going to name and shame. We'll no longer just keep quiet. We will publish, as we are required to publish the names of candidates, and then we'll have a column. Say, yes, we have accepted, but the party did not conduct primaries.
The crisis rocking the Inter-Party Advisory Council also manifested at the session.
This is the right thing to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman, election was conducted, and this is the outcome of the election. We're not interested in who has lost. It's just the procedure. That's one. Secondly, working with you, we also know that after a party election, there is usually a ceremony. Which we are invited. They say you are not inaugurating the new executive. It's a very happy occasion. There is a handing over. So we expect that all these processes to be applied in the conduct of the election. Please, let us not go back to the situation we were in before, where we hold meetings of political parties and they end up in a rancorous manner, not over tangible issues in the management of political parties or democracy, but over the leadership of an umbrella organization of political parties.
INEC expressed its commitment to electoral guidelines and timetable, and also assured all registered political parties of a level playing ground. Emmanuel Bagudu, PTV News, Abuja.
In the same vein, INEC has warned that it will be on the lookout for vote buyers in the September 22nd Osun governorship election. The Commission Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu made this known at a consultative meeting with the participating political parties on Friday. According to Mahmoud, INEC would be on the lookout for parties seeking to buy votes during the election.
So I can't conclude without talking about this important issue. And I wish to appeal to the political parties to continue to work with us to ensure that we address this menace. We are looking forward to the Osun State governorship election to make a very definitive statement on vote buying. We are right now working with the security agencies. We shall arrest, we shall prosecute, and make public show of how not to behave in a democracy. We will make a big statement on vote buying in the Osun governorship elections. And when the time comes, don't say you are not forewarned. You are forewarned. Whoever is involved, we are going to make a very powerful statement. We can't carry this menace into the 2019 general elections. And Osun is going to be the laboratory for us to test all the processes that we intend to introduce to address this menace of vote buying.
The army authorities say troops have killed the Boko Haram insurgents and rescued 21 hostages in Borno. Army spokesman, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, explained that the incident took place at the Polka village in Goza local government area. He added that the troops raided the village in conjunction with Civilian Joint Task Force. This was after insurgents had on Tuesday ambushed a military escort at Adaga area in Polka and burnt one passenger vehicle as well as abducted some travelers. The army spokesman said 4 men injured during the attack after receiving treatment at the military hospital. The village is said to have harbored the insurgents that ambushed the civilian vehicle. The government of Benue State has been commended for upgrading facilities at Government College Makudi. The commendation came after the national president of the College Old Boys Association, Ayuba Daliop, presented over 60 mattresses donated to the college. Our Benue State correspondent, Akuma Tiev, tells us more in this report presented from our studios. Okay, moving forward now, to some business stories where some major blue chips on the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Friday recorded price depreciation as a result of profit taken by investors. Dangote Cement topped the price losers chart, dropping 1 naira to close at 26 naira 90 kobo per share. UBN followed with a loss of 55 kobo to close at 55.3 naira per share. Lafarge Wabco depreciated by 15 kobo to close at 23 naira, while Oando Oil and Zenith Bank lost 1 kobo each to close at 5 naira 25 kobo and 20 naira 9 kobo per share respectively. All share index lost 72 naira 31 basis points on 0.21% to close at 34,073.91 against 34,110.22 recorded on Thursday. The market capitalization dipped by 26 billion, or say 0.21%, to close at 12.426 trillion naira, compared to 12.452 trillion achieved on Thursday. On the other hand, GlaxoSmithKline led the gainers table with 1.2 to close the market at 14.3 naira per share. You're watching PTV tonight. Keep up with our news by downloading our mobile app on Google Android Play Store and iOS. It's PTV Nigeria. Don't forget you can also watch us live via our website. It's www.ptvng.com/live. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram and Twitter at PTV_NG. Still to come, Mugabe accepts new Zimbabwean president. After this break, we'll be right back.
soldiers helping Nigerian forces fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislatures.
This is coming together of people who are confused.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have
There had hardly been any administration.
Practitioner, one of place the end of justice under the law about no religious body in Nigeria.
Validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe has now accepted President Emmerson Mnangagwa as the country's legitimate leader. This was after initially accusing him of leading what he called the disgraceful de facto coup that ended his near 4-decade rule last year. Mugabe had also said he would vote for opposition to remove Mnangagwa's military government as the 94-year-old leader expressed bitterness and turned against his one-time ally in the ruling ZANU-PF party. But as the funeral wake of his mother-in-law, Mugabe has been quoted as saying that Mnangagwa's victory, which is still disputed by his main opposition, Chamisa, made him a legitimate president. A privately owned Newsday and state-owned The Herald newspaper reported on Friday. Mugabe said, looking frail in video footage on an online television site, that the wrong that happened to him has been erased by the July 30 election. And that's the much we can take on PTV tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Daniel Nwawoso.
A classico, I tell you, my 3 points is clear.
Yes.